Bruce's big call Dinar Intel Tuesday night January 14, 25. Listen to the full version on the official DinarReport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Bruce's big call Dinar Intel Tuesday night January 14, 25. Transcribed by Wiser, now emailed to recaps. Welcome everybody, the big call tonight, Tuesday January 14th, and you're listening to the big call. Thanks everybody for tuning in yet again. Thank you SAT team for getting the call out to so many people and so many nations across the globe. Alright, I guess I gotta get my thinking cap on and see how we can bring out things that we need to know right now. I've got several things I'm going to put in some form or fashion in an order, which will help to create a timeline for us. I always like to see timelines to see where we are, what's happening in the next few days, and where are we going, and how we're going to get there. And that's sort of what I'm going to try to paint this picture for you guys tonight. Initially, we're going to say President Trump has given the green light to our new, restored Republic Treasury. Let's call it based at least temporarily in Reno, Nevada to activate, was the word. Activate the new United States note, which we call the USN, or the currency we call the United States Treasury note, the USTN, to activate that. And that instruction was given to occur between last night, which was Monday night, and Wednesday morning, which is tomorrow morning. So we're looking at that activation of the USN, which is part of GESARA, along with all the other asset-backed currencies in the world. And certainly it's a part of NESARA, in terms of letting the people know, hey, we have a new asset-backed dollar we don't have with the USD. And so we should be getting excited about the possibility that what we've been looking for, which was have been looking for, anyway, is an announcement about the USN, about, the asset-backed dollar, that we have, and all of that is part NESARA, and I think we're about to see that. The other thing that we're seeing is that we're getting from a limited amount of sources now that some of these are our paymasters over the bondholders are getting sort of an order of which dominoes are falling. That's the first, second, third and fourth domino. And it appears in the first domino is the bondholders getting their emails letting them know when they have access to funds, that first access to funds to be scheduled for either tomorrow or Thursday for the bondholders. The second domino they call platform trades. These are Zim platforms that certain people entered into with up to 5 100T notes. This was in the past a few years back, and this was something that would be paying out over pretty much 1 year, 13 months, I think. So that's really something that we're looking for to be the second domino to fall. And third domino should be what we refer to as the Admirals groups. And there are multiple groups under the Admiral. And there might be more than one Admiral, by the way, we know of one in particular. And then the fourth domino is this in Tier 4B, or the Internet group. Now, our understanding from Wells Fargo's point of view is that Tier 4 is this Tier 4. They don't distinguish between 4A and 4B. I've done it in the past and continue to do it because people want to know. What about our group? What about the Internet group, the largest group that is primarily listening to the big call and looking online for other information? Well, I believe that Tier 4, A and B, or Tier 4, will go pretty much together. This whole rollout, which we've used the term shotgun start, is supposed to roll out over 48 hours. Now I think 48 hours basically starts when the USN is acknowledged, activated, and the theory is that it should happen by tomorrow morning. We don't have a time for it, but I'm going to say, if it is to happen by tomorrow, it would happen by noon tomorrow. So there is an order to things on the release of these. Now somewhere in the mix is the so-called intermediaries, people like CMKX, adjudicated settlements, fines and penalties, farm claims, ranch claims, Native American claims, and there may be one or two others, but that's what I'm bringing up, is as what we're calling the intermediary groups. Now those groups should be paid kind of when the bondholders are notified. I think that's also going to be triggered within the next 48 hours, but it may take longer, 2 days to pay all those. But I don't think it necessarily should, but we'll have to see. Keep an eye. We may not even hear about some of those unless you're in CMKX, unless you're in a situation where your farm or ranch was taken from you, or whatever, and now they're going to make it to you. They're going to at least pay you for it, we'll see what that looks like. I had understood our Native Americans were already compensated, but maybe they weren't, maybe not all of them. So it's hard to know everything about that. So there's the next couple of days of things. We should get our notifications. I believe in the next day or two, we could get it Wednesday. We could get it Thursday and start. I'm sorry I don't have anything that takes me on Thursday in the way of what we're talking about with this RV with a blessing. Okay, so, we heard from CW, and he says his associate said. Well, we're still looking at Charlie Ward's Thursday, and maybe we are, and maybe we get numbers tomorrow. And all we do is set appointments. We start on Thursday. That's possible. I hope we get numbers, set appointments to start tomorrow, but we'll have to see. This is one of these I have to wait and see. And I hate that expression, but it is one that we have to sort of do right now. Let's go beyond that. Let's talk about a couple of things. 1. This really blew my mind. My new understanding as of yesterday was we're going to actually be offered an interest rate. This is my currency rate. This is a rate of interest that would be paid on our primary and secondary bank accounts. This does not pay on out of a Quantum account. It pays on the money that we move from the Quantum account using our Quantum card to get into our accounts and then move that into a primary, my case, Wells and secondary Wells accounts, and they're offering us 12% interest, annual, percentage yearly. That doesn't make any sense. But APY for 5 years? For the first 5 years, 12% per year? Why in the world would they offer and we don't have to negotiate that? That's nothing that we have to negotiate like we thought we were gonna have to negotiate upwards of 5 to 10%. Well, this is 12% and you know why? Because when we transition from the USD, the fiat dollar, to the USN, with the USD, basically on its way out, and we can still use what we have here, but with it on its way out, the banks will be broke. They need our funds in our accounts so that they can stabilize themselves and have the wherewithal for Basel III Basel IV compliance. So to get that type of interest rate on the amounts that we're talking about moving into our primary and secondary. And I say secondary, let's say we have a primary account. The main account that's under the name of the trust, and then we have accounts underneath that are sub-accounts, still under the protection of the trust. But let's say they're, in my case, using 4 LLC accounts. And so those accounts would be sub-accounts to the primary, but all those accounts, as I understand it, sub in the primary account, will earn 12% interest for 5 years. I don't know if it's compounded daily. I don't know how often is compounded, but I think we can ask for the interest to be paid out to us monthly or quarterly, every 3 months. I'm going to go for quarterly for me to see that number and deal with. Okay, that's a number I have to give away. Invest whatever I'm going to do with it, bless people. Is for Rebuild America used for whatever, right? And I think it's a little easier than to try to keep up with monthly for me. So that's what I'm going to do, try to do. The other thing is, what else? What about? Let's go with a timeline then, alright, so that has taken us all the way Thursday, with the potential start for our exchanges tomorrow. And Thursday and then Friday. We go right on through Saturday the 18th. I know that there are a couple of events that are planned, and one of which is a private meeting in Northern Virginia for President Trump and his cabinet choices. That'll be a great little get-together for them. They'll probably have a great time. Also on Saturday the 18th, there is a ballroom inaugural ball that's going to be at the Hyatt Regency Hotel on Capitol Hill. And that's a big deal, big event. And I believe they have tickets for sale for that now, and there are 3 levels of participation. I'm not sure if the top level is full, I think it is. But anyway, that's something that's going to be great for people that are in DC area and they want to attend. My understanding, I don't know this, of course. But my belief system is that President Trump make a cameo appearance at most of the inaugural balls that are planned. And even though they talk about other locations and so on, there's nowhere that shows where they are or when they are, yet. It's kind of a 404 page not found, one of those deals. So stay tuned for that, and it would be last minute. Sounds like last minute. Less people in the know already know about it. It's just not being advertised. That's very possible. So that's Saturday. That Sunday, President Trump is supposed to make an appearance to the tune of The Unknown Soldier, and I don't know if that's Arlington National Cemetery or somewhere else. But that's what he's supposed to do Sunday, and he has a MAGA rally, Make America Great rally at the Capitol Center in Washington, D.C., for the Caps play hockey, their home sheet of ice. And so that's going to be going on Sunday. Monday, we have inauguration. One put it as a swearing in, or he is sworn in on Monday the 20th. It's also Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King Jr., and so believe it will be a bank holiday. And so I think for that reason, the R&R, if we're moving into Tuesday now on the 20th. Help me out, the 21st should be. But from the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday should be when we are seeing and receiving our restitution reconciliation allowance. And I told you guys on 2 or 3 occasions how that's going to work out for ages that are 30 to 45 minus 45 to 60 and 60 and above. Get theirs as a lump sum. We'll see how it'll shake out for everybody. But it should occur within that time frame. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, somewhere in there. And there's discussion that we might have our increase in Social Security this month in January, but I don't know if it'll start tomorrow or the 4th Wednesday, which is the 22nd, or whether it's not even going to happen this month or not. I don't know until it will, but I can't say for sure that it will. And I know increase is what I'm talking about. Getting that increase amount has not happened in the first 2 Wednesdays for Social Security recipients. So I'm not sure whether it's going to happen for anyone else this month or not. Debt forgiveness, Jubilee, all of that is part of Nasara, and we're just going to have to see. One thing that was brought to me today. Thank you, Trish Farron. I think it was Truth Social that President Trump talked about, not the Internal Revenue Service, but an external revenue service. And he talked about receiving monies from other countries around the world that are doing trade with the United States. Getting trade tariffs and so on, paid to us. And I tell you, he didn't say we see the end of the IS. But that is part of the NESARA. We will have a flat tax. It's not called a value-add tax, but they have in Europe, but it's called a consumption tax, and that tax would be approximately 15% and maybe 14 or 15%, but that's in boarded meaning. Contained in the price of new goods, new products, not on used items, but only and not supposed to be on any pharmaceuticals. And I'm not sure if it's going to be on food or not. In the grocery store, I do not think it's on food, but in restaurants, we could still pay a tax in the restaurants. I'm not sure about it. But for us not to have to pay income tax, federal income tax, or state income tax, and I don't even know what property taxes will exist or not. I've been told they won't, but we'll have to see how it all comes out. So the Fed is dead, the Federal Reserve's gone. The USA corporation's dead. Forget that the new restored Republic of the United States, and President Trump will be sworn in as President of the Restored Republic. So there's your timeline starting tomorrow, starting last night to tomorrow morning for the USN to be activated. By the way, our accounts for now are mirrored with the QFS system. And essentially, when that occurs, all of our accounts will be in the QF system, protected in there. I think we're just protected right now. You realize that the US Treasury, and when I say that, I'm talking about the new Treasury, just picked up $17 trillion. Where did they get that money? You think certain people had tried to move funds in offshore accounts, and because QFS picked it up and now put those funds to the fees. Yep, that's a nice piece of change. 17T. What about this so-called national debt? What are they? Where is it? 35? 36 trillion? Something like that, and climbing. I'm being told it doesn't need to pay back. Fiat currency was incurred by United States Incorporated, which is defunct. I think that's just something that the media still has to try to work with, but it's not even a thing. It won't even be paid back. That's kind of cool. Let's see where else can we go. I think that's really what I wanted to say about Intel, about our timeline. Remember, we've got the possibility of numbers coming out tomorrow or Thursday, and then exchanges starting either tomorrow or Thursday. Is what I'm getting and telling you guys. What I'm hearing from the best sources that we have still available. Not every source is available. These are. And then we've got the Fridays kind of a question mark. If we start exchanges tomorrow or Thursday, we'll go right on through the weekend. Not sure about Monday. Because it is MLK Day and it's also, the inauguration day will be a lot going on. We'll see. But I know this thing should go right on through. Does President Trump have to be inaugurated as president for us to get the RV? I've been told no, he does not have to be back in as president for this to happen. So we're pushing it closely. We're getting there, but let's see what happens in the next few days. Okay, that'll answer it for us. If we get numbers, the answer is no, we just push right on through, set upon this and go. Med beds availability, if you're in dire need, if you're in hospice, if you're close to the pearly gates, yeah, you can get in really soon. I've been told as soon as day after the exchange. That's for dire need. And it doesn't hurt if you're a ZIM holder, by the way, That's probably the biggest thing you can be. Besides being dire need get in quickly. Still by referral basis, you can have 6 referrals. Make sure people know that you're referring. Name, phone, yeah, that's even better. You have all of those, and obviously put the top of your list number 1 would be your most dire need. If there's Zim holders that's better for them, they're not just whatever. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's everything I needed to tell you guys. Have a wonderful night. Let's pray the call out. Listen to the full version on the official DinarReport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon.